Hi, it's Gila Nehemia, sacred erotic self-love mentor, poet, and mystic. And you are tuned into the collaboration Ascension Healing Series. And I'm here today with a special guest, Sade from, actually I met her on Instagram. She just did an interview with me, and she does shadow work. And she's an amazing, amazing person. And I'd love for you to just say a few words, Sade, about what you do.
Thank you for inviting me on to your show. I definitely appreciate it. The interview we had last week was amazing. So my name is Sade, and I am a shadow work coach. So essentially, I help people align with their true, authentic selves. So pretty much what this means is that a lot of us grow up in society, and we're indoctrinated with what society tells us how we should be, how we should act. And as we get older, we take certain aspects of ourselves and we push it to the side, and we only embrace both sides of ourselves. And this causes a lot of mental health issues, emotional issues, and definitely issues when it comes to your relationships with other people. So as a shadow work coach, what I do is help you dive into those shadowy aspects of yourself and own it, and really step into your true authentic self by accepting all sides of you and lifting that burden of wanting to fit in and all that other nonsense we do in society.
So true, and it's so important, the work that you do, because it's so needed. I wanted to know if there's anything that you specialize in terms of the shadow work that you do.
Yes. So I use a lot of oracle and tarot readings with my shadow work to help dig into the subconscious mind of the person a bit better, because a lot of times people are reacting to things and not really knowing why they do certain stuff. So that's a series of tarot readings, oracle readings, a lot of exercises, meditations. I'm very heavy into hypnosis work. And with the hypnosis work, self-hypnosis, you're able to like kind of overwrite what's already in your mind, like your brain is like a computer, you know. So as you go through life and experience certain things, what's in your conscious mind when you sleep, it goes into your subconscious mind. And then later on, you start noticing you're reacting to things. You don't know why you're reacting to certain things in a certain way. It's because your subconscious mind is running the show and you don't even know it. So the best way to override the system is through hypnosis and certain types of meditation. So I'm very heavy on hypnosis and meditations.
So does the hypnosis then help you to change your thoughts and habits that you do?
Absolutely. I have used hypnosis to help people get out of suicidal thinking. I have used hypnosis to help people get out of poor eating habits. Like me in general, like, you know, in the past 6 weeks, I've just went vegan cold turkey, and I haven't been tempted to go back to anything. And I hypnotize myself. So if you understand the human brain, like fully, if you really understand the human brain, we are literally like robots, really. Like our brain is the hard drive. So if you know how to master the human mind, the human body can do things that you wouldn't think is believable. Like, I don't know if you ever seen, sometimes they'll have like in the news, there'll be like a baby underneath a car and his mother's trying to get there, and they'll like literally lift up the car to grab the baby. You're like, how were they able to do that? Because in their mind, it's like, oh my God, my baby's in the car. Like, they're not even thinking of, I can't pick up a car. They're not thinking about that. They go right into fight or flight mode. They're like, I gotta save my baby. Next thing you know, they're picking up a car to an Incredible Hulk. You know, they're doing all types of stuff. And it's like, when you remove those limitations off your mind, you'll be surprised at what the average human can do, you know? So it's you know, nurturing your mind and feeding your mind things that it needs in order to grow. It's very important, and hypnosis is an integral part of that process.
Yeah, I love that. I could completely agree with you. I think we're limitless beings, and we can actually do anything. And it is, it's our programming that thinks that we are limited. So we begin to think that way. But once you open up those, you know, are actually blast those kinds of patterns from your consciousness, then, you know, it's almost like the sky's the limit. What can't you do?
Right, right. Absolutely. Yeah, it's the brain has so many different functions to it, you know. And when you know how the mind works, and you know how to hypnotize yourself or other people, you'll know exactly what colors, sounds, smells would trigger certain responses out of people. And the whole part of self-mastery is to eventually get above those triggers. And the only thing that can trigger you is you. But until then, you know, a lot of us are very susceptible to being manipulated into living certain lifestyles that really aren't for us. I mean, how many people woke up at 40 years old and decided, like, gosh, like, I signed up for this? Like, did I really want this? You know, hence midlife crisis.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, sometimes you have to really sit back and think, like, life I'm living right now, is this truly what I want? Like, who told me I was supposed to have the husband, kids, and the white picket fence? Like, who said that's for me? Or, you know, or who says I have to be, the single, you know, and not wanting to have no responsibilities, like whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Design that life for you. A lot of times it's not us.
Yeah. Right.
We're on autopilot.
Yeah. And what made you come to this? How did you get to this spot? Like, can you give us a little background? Because some people might be where you were a few years ago and would love to see how they could, you know, maybe live the life you're living now. So that would be important for our audience.
I got to this point of self-acceptance when my father died. My father died about 3 years ago. That was my best friend. And when my dad passed away, I went searching for answers because at that time I was Christian. And, you know, searching for answers through the spiritual route was frowned upon because you can't contact the other side or anything like that. That's, you know, you can't do that as a Christian. So I went searching because I wanted to connect with my father, and in that journey of just doing all of this stuff to connect with my father, I ended up delving into this whole world of spirituality I did not even know existed. And I started to be a little afraid at first. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I shouldn't be doing this. This is not right. Like I'm going to go to hell, you know, all this crazy stuff. And the more I educated myself and read books and meditated, and got messages from my ancestors, like, I'm like, wait a minute, this is real. I'm not going to hell. I'm just connecting back to my roots. And in that process, I was able to connect with my father again.
Nice.
And I would definitely say that that was a big part of my shadow working process. And it's just been a beautiful experience. But yeah, look, I would say definitely the more you learn, the more you meditate, the more you connect with your spirit guides, your ancestors, what have you, they'll start to reveal certain things to you, and you'll start to see life in a different way. Like, am I really supposed to be living like this? Or, you know, why do I feel I have to do this by a certain age? You know,
Right.
who said that that's your life, how you're supposed to be, you know?
Yeah.
It kind of feels like society's on a conveyor belt, like, you know, school, college, job, marriage, kids, you know, 2 1-week vacations a year, that, you know, like that, who said that's how life is supposed to be? Like, do you honestly think we came down here because we all decide to come here and have a human experience? I had to think, Sade, did you actually sign up to come down here just to do the conveyor belt stuff, as I call it? That sounds so minuscule. No, I didn't come down here for that.
Yeah, definitely.
And no one else does. It's a trap. It's a game.
Yes, it's a game. It is a game. And that's really the big question, I think. You know, I used to feel like that too. I was working in a high tech company like about 3 years ago. I left, and I said, I just can't see myself doing this for another, whatever, 20, 30 years. I just can't do it. You know, my kids are at home. I'm a single mom. Right. What is the point of my life if I'm sitting in an office? Like, there's no point of existence.
Right.
You know, this is not, I basically came to the same realization too. I was like, this is not what I'm here to do. So let's get the show moving to what I'm really supposed to do, because I'm not doing it anymore.
I love that. Yeah, and having that courage to leave the rat race. That in and of itself is shows great strength and resiliency, because it's very easy to fall in the trap that you cannot live a good lifestyle unless you're working for someone, or unless you're going into an office. We're all kind of groomed to like just be in the office. So that's beautiful. It takes a lot of bravery.
Thank you. Thank you.
It.
Well, I agree with you. I'm totally with you on, like, we were signed up to do this. We signed up ourselves to do this. Our souls did.
Right.
And a lot of things happened to me in my life too. My parents died. My husband died. It was like one thing after another, over a period of time. And it was just like, hey, I think everyone, I really believe in the spiritual awakening that's happening currently, because I feel like, we're suddenly seeing patterns. And I don't know if you see this with your clients or with your own life, seeing patterns that are happening maybe generationally. And you're like, maybe this has got to stop with me. Maybe I've got something from my family or my children, or, maybe the community at large. Like, I don't know, but I feel that when we wake up, we figure out, or we're asked to figure out, what is our purpose on this planet.
Absolutely. Yeah. And things are definitely passed down. And I love when science finally matches up with, spirituality, because epigenetics backs up exactly what you're saying, how things are passed down through the bloodline, because it really is. And it's not like things just like hypertension or diabetes or stuff like that. Right. It's things like, it could be a phobia, fear of spiders, drinking problems, like all of that stuff is passed down. And like you said, if you're the one to wake up, you have to clear that out of your bloodline, so you don't pass that on to your kids. And if you did pass on to your kids by you working on yourself, they get the benefit from that as well, because your behaviors are going to change and how you raise your children are going to change as well. So it's very important to do the inner work, to let go of those generational curses and or epigenetics or whatever was passed down to you. The buck stops with you. It's your responsibility. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, thank you. And I love the way how you combine science with, the shadow work and the deep inner kind of emotional feelings and stuff, because I didn't actually even know this until I came upon Joe Dispenza a few years ago, maybe a year ago or something. And, because I would have these symptoms of awakening. And then he was like, well, actually your body is recalibrating. He's genetically proven it. And I thought that was just amazing that, there's actual scientific evidence of the things that we're feeling. So that, that just kind of blew my mind. Like, so it's not just in my, I used to think it's just in my heart, I just have this connection to my, I'm just emotional. But it's so much more than that.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I didn't know that someone did prove that the spiritual awakening in a scientific way. So I'm going to have to look up that person.
Yeah, look him up. He's big. And I think you'd be he speaks a lot. And I think it just really makes sense. Like, so then it becomes very real for even the scientific audience. It doesn't, quite believe you, but there's so much proof, like when you change your eating habits, when you eat more clean food, and when you're around nature, like all of that stuff really does affect all parts of you.
Here's a quick oracle card. So, Spirit, what message do you have for Gila's audience at this time? What message do you have? What message do you have? Waiting for something to fall out. Come on. Perfect. Okay. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, so it's the message to your audience what Spirit has. And they have, I am the angel of families. A happy change or addition is coming into your family. Wow. That's beautiful. So that is beautiful. That means that whoever's watching this video, a lot of you guys are either pregnant, about to be pregnant, or you're going to be bringing to life a whole new version of yourself. Like, to me, when I think of birth or a baby, I think of something that has been incubating for a while and you're about to bring it to life. So what Spirit is saying is that whatever you have been working on that you haven't launched yet, it's going to be a success. So congratulations to you guys and the ones you guys are having babies. Yes. Congratulations for that too.
That's a beautiful, beautiful
and as far as,
go ahead.
Oh, I love seeing stuff like this. It's like a happy change is coming, or in addition to family. So, you know, a lot of people, okay, so I'm very much, or as the New Age community calls them, the 7 universal law of rhythm. That's my favorite law because it talks the Bible as well. It's funny how all of these ancient occult teachings are all, but it talks about, like, it's like a pendulum, and it can move to the right or it can move to the left. And a lot of times what happens is that when people are going through rough times, they think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get out of this. Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, that's how the universe works. You're going to experience lack and you're going to experience abundance. So whoever this message resonates with, it is coming out of a very rough spot in their life. And their Spirit is saying it's, you know, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
Over. Like literally the pendulum's moving in their direction. Absolutely. So if you've been going through a rough time, Spirit is saying so get excited. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. And that brings us to our next question, which is amazing, is like, what are your programs and what are your offerings? If someone wants to connect with you and work with you, what are the types of things they can do with you?
Absolutely. So my website is amethystmoon.us. And I can also be found on Instagram, Amethyst Moon Messages. So right now I do have a psychic development class. Actually, I have more people than I was expecting. It comes with an elixir. I have elixir, and it's made of herbs that come from Peru, and also in the United States. So it's like a blend of the world in a bottle. And all of these are psychedelic herbs that are meant to open up your third eye and strengthen your psychic, and really to help you open your third eye. It's more intermediate to advanced, is to really show people how to strengthen the abilities that they already have and calling on their higher self. Open up that direct line of communication very, very quickly. So it's definitely an interactive class. It's no lectures, it's a conversation. It is next Saturday at 2 p.m. So if you are interested in that, definitely go to amethystmoon.us, and the class is right on there. I do shadow work, of course. Shadow work, you would have to make that because I take that on a case-by-case basis right now. Because you know, sometimes I'm just not the shadow worker for that person. So I always like to do a good reading first. Mm-hmm. And you know, we kind of take it from there.
Okay, perfect. So all the details will be in the YouTube description of, you know, your website. Awesome. And your Instagram handle. So that's an easy way to get in touch with Sade, and she has amazing feed. So definitely check her out. So I would recommend. Can they do readings with you, or do you just are you inviting people?
Oh, absolutely. I forgot about that part. Like that's the base of my business is readings. How did I forget that? Yes, I do readings. So I do 2 question readings. That is all of my readings are video recorded. So I love video. Everything's video recorded. So if you go to amethystmoon.us, I have a few options there for readings and also live readings as well. I can answer any question outside of health and deceased loved ones. Those are 2 areas I don't delve into. But other than that, and my reviews are also on my Instagram. So if you want to check out reviews, they're in the little circle part on my Instagram. So you can check out what people have to say about their experiences with me.
Fantastic. That's amazing. So I'll put all that information there. I'll have just the highlights, and they can look for more on your website or on Instagram. Is there anything else you'd like to add, before we close?
Yeah. If you are thinking about doing shadow work, what I would suggest that you start off with is follow your emotional triggers. So you want to sit back and have a pen and pad and think, what is it about other people that give me an emotional, like a negative emotional response? What are certain behaviors that people do that really irritate me? And the things that you strongly dislike about other people are the pathways to your shadow. A lot of times what you are emotionally triggered by is something that you're denying yourself. And that's a part of your shadow that needs to be embraced in order for you to start the healing process and being your authentic self. So I'll give you an example. When I was doing my shadow work, I was always annoyed by like selfish people, and like, who's not annoyed by selfish people? But I was like very emotionally triggered by selfish people. And that's because I have always been literally the person, I'll give you the shirt off of my back, even if you didn't deserve it, you know? I was always that type of person, self-sacrificing. And that was a self-love issue that I had. So that to me, when I saw that correlation, that's when I started being more selfish with my time and setting up those boundaries and not looking at selfishness as something horrible. Like, you know, again, like that law of rhythm we were discussing earlier, everything is about balance. Everything has to harmonize at the end of the day. And there's times in your life when you do need to be selfish, you know, and there's times in your life where you need to give more. But it should never be all giving or all taking. There's different periods at different times. And the biggest thing I learned from that is, you know, in the spiritual community, we push balance a lot. But the thing is that balance is not being 50-50 or equal with everything at the same time. I like to think of it more as harmony. Like at some points you need to be more to the left, and other times you may need more to the right. You know, you can have it all. It's just not all at the same time.
That's very true. That's very wise of you to state. I thank you for that. Because I think we all strive towards balance, but you're right. You know, we don't always have balance at every moment. You know, sometimes we need to work on one thing and so that the other thing can balance out at some point.
Right.
Exactly at that time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it becomes, and it can take a toll on people after a while with trying to have everything together. You know, it's just, life is not designed that way. It's just not.
Right. Well, that's really wonderful. I am so glad that we connected today. And
absolutely.
I would encourage all of the viewers to connect with Sade on her website or at Instagram to take advantage of her programs, to schedule a card reading, because she's truly gifted and she has something amazing to offer. So if this is resonating with you, do not hesitate. You know, definitely, I truly believe this. When we resonate with someone, just take the moment, like move with it.
Right.
Because you have no idea. Sometimes we overthink things and we're like,
right.
Okay, you know, all the different excuses, but they're just excuses, you know. When something resonates, you feel it and just go with the feeling.
Yeah. And it's something that person is part of your soul tribe.
Yes.
So you guys are, you know, have some type of similarity as far as energy for you to even be in the same space with that person at that time. And I also do free readings as well. They're on my page. So they're group readings. I do them pretty much every week. So a lot of people benefit off of those as well. So definitely come to Amethyst Moon Messages and check me out. Get some free readings.
Yeah, exciting. So thank you so much. Thank everyone for watching. If you want to contact Sade, all the information will be here. If you want to contact me on my programs, my information will be below as well. So thanks again. And
thank you for having me on.
Again. Of course.
Absolutely.